Good morning, good morning. Welcome to, this is the tarot study of the Chariot. This is take 2 of today's video because I didn't realize until today, I recorded them yesterday, but none of the videos for today have sound, so I'm redoing these, which is totally fine. But they are going to be shorter, more compacted, less commentary videos. But anyway, here is the original Rider-Waite, Wildwood, Wildwood Tarot, Winter Tarot, and this is the card. This is a good tarot, the Good Tarot, which reminds me of, this is from like Bridgerton, if you watch this season of Bridgerton. Okay. So there's that. And then today we are going to read from, Tarot for Change. So, and here's the inside. Oh, Lordy, I keep knocking everything. There's the inside. Okay, here we go. I feel like I'm constantly doing damage control with people I work with around unlearning the myth of willpower as some sort of magic pill or panacea. I grew up with an Italian-American father and watched a lot of Rocky movies as a kid. So I get it. I too have wanted to believe that with hard work and elbow grease, I could have what I wanted. Robert Bly wrote, "Always cry for what you want." And I took that to heart. But what I didn't do, and what no one around me seemed to be doing either, was spend time learning to manage what happens when life tells you no. Now I know what they're why they're having me read this again. There's something I want to do, but they keep telling me no, and I'm like, but I want to. All right. I'm not knocking willpower. It's a really perfect tool for certain challenges, like external ones where you have some amount of control over outcomes, such as passing a test or training to run a race. But willpower is not so helpful when it comes to internal challenges, like social anxiety or grief. In fact, the way willpower usually manifests in those kinds of cases is through the exertion of efforts to push away or dull the feelings that you don't want. And that gets ugly fast. Willpower can take us only so far. And when we hit that limit, it can feel as though the vehicle we were driving doesn't work anymore. The wheels spin and we don't move. We're not sure how to get out, and even if we were, we have no other modes of transportation. We'd walk, but our legs are set inside 2 tons of cement. The obstacle course of achievement under capitalism isn't built to teach pathfinding. It's built to teach a compliance with a preset path. To an extent, you do get to pick your own adventure, but you'll be told what you need to do to get the prize, as well as what the prize is or ought to be. Life isn't some obstacle course that you're meant to muscle through your way through with rows of neatly arranged blocks and barricades. It's just that this particular environment has trained us to think that it is, or that it should be. Where willpower may have worked well for you to get through the obstacle course of your schooling or your career path you chose before you had any idea your life wasn't an extension clipped onto someone else's definition of success, the moment you decide you want to do something different with your life is the moment you realize you're going to need a new set of skills, one for navigation and wayfinding. In dialectical behavior therapy, there's a thing called willfulness, which is similar to willpower, but generally considered a liability. Willfulness is when you impose your will on reality, which is fine in some cases, but harmful when reality is simply cannot be what you want. We're given many stories from the time we're young about the value of willpower and pushing through obstacles, but we're not given stories about what happens when we hit concrete walls, when we do not get what we want, no matter how loud we cry. When willpower is the wrong skill for the circumstance, we aren't really set up to fail, when rather we are indoctrinated with the value of persevering and refusing to take no for an answer. But life is both yeses and nos. We don't get what we want all the time. It sounds so juvenile and so obvious, and yet so many of us really struggle with accepting that. And sometimes this is something I've always thought about with the Chariot, which is popularly read as a card about success, but depicts a man with his legs cemented into a vehicle. We do get what we thought we wanted, only to realize it's a trap, and now we feel hopelessly stuck. Then what? The Chariot has never said much to me about the then what. I think its medicine is more in the way it reveals limitations of willpower and dangers of believing life is simply a series of completing difficult tasks and yoking wild bulls so they'll do what we want them to do. That just isn't at all what this is. I wish we tell more than only the stories where we struggle and then get what we want, as if always getting what we want were the point of life. How silly, how childish, how one note and unmagical. Yes, willpower can carry you to many places, but make no mistake, stuckness is one of them. Amen. And so it is. I think they're trying to tell me no again. All right, there it is. Tarot for Change. And where's the card again? There's the card again. The Chariot. This is from The Good Tarot by Colette Baron Reed. There you go. Much love. See you tomorrow.